Corla, I want to condemn the awful scenes we saw in CityWest last night. One far-right account in advance of the riot posted online, quote, "CityWest iPass Centre needs to be stormed." That was the clear goal last night, to overrun the accommodation centre. This wasn't done to protect children or the community, even if that's what the organisers claimed to the people they brought along with them. The organisers were intent on sowing chaos. It was done to whip up fear, create division, and terrify vulnerable people. I want to commend Gardaí for containing the violence and bringing it under control. Taoiseach, the alleged sexual assault of a 10-year-old girl who was supposed to be in the care of the state is shocking on so many levels. My thoughts are with her and her family. People all across the country are rightly horrified. Taoiseach, the alleged perpetrator, is now in jail. He was not in CityWest last night, but innocent men, women and children were. Vulnerable, international protection applicants who have every right to be here, all of whom would have been terrified by the riot outside. Many, no doubt, now living in fear. Taoiseach, I know after the last riots in Dublin that many children of colour didn't turn up to school across the city the next day. They were afraid to leave their homes, afraid that their skin colour would make them a target. You have to imagine that that's happening again today. People of colour, all over the city, now scared and on high alert. I wonder how children who are living in CityWest are feeling today. I wonder how many of them felt safe enough to go to school. It is disgusting that an alleged sexual assault on one vulnerable child has resulted in other children being terrorised. Taoiseach, last night's rioting was orchestrated by far-right actors online. They peddle racist myths that international protection applicants are more prone to crimes against women and children. They openly incite violence and celebrate it when it happens. While they spread their dangerous and divisive disinformation online, there is an onus on everyone in this chamber to counter that rhetoric. We must use language carefully and factually, continually point out that there is no link between migration and crime, counter racist innuendo about asylum seekers, and highlight that the vast majority of deportation orders have nothing to do with public safety concerns. They're issued because people do not meet the very narrow criteria to make a successful asylum application. Taoiseach, my questions are, what measures are being put in place to ensure that vulnerable men, women and children in CityWest are kept safe, and have threats been made against any other iPass centres? Have threats been made against any other iPass centres?
Taoiseach.
First of all, I want to thank you, Deputy, for raising the issue in the manner that you have. It's a very, very important issue. And in the first instance, I too want to thank An Garda Síochána for their bravery, courage and professionalism in dealing with a very, very serious and grave situation last evening, where, as you correctly say, innocent people were threatened in terms of their own safety and security, and particularly children as well. And also the surrounding neighbourhoods where walls were apparently damaged and for people to get missiles to throw against the Gardaí. The Gardaí come from our community. They're there to protect us all. And it beggars belief that these people would articulate such vile abuse of members of An Garda Síochána, would then attack them in a very serious way, which could cause injury and damage if they didn't have their protective clothing. And it needs to be dealt with robustly. And we're very clear, and the Minister for Justice is very clear, that we are in total solidarity with An Garda Síochána, and also that our criminal justice system needs to hold the people responsible for last evening to account. We wish the female Garda who was injured the very best. It was a very, very difficult situation that those young Gardaí faced last evening. They should not have to face that. And also, it's a matter of genuine and sincere concern that, in terms of the alleged assault on a 10-year-old girl, but the whole circumstances surrounding that, is a matter of deep concern. And our thoughts are with that 10-year-old young child and the family and so on. And our job in the state is to protect that child, to support that child. That child, in my observations, was not protected by the state. And that's it. I don't mean that's it. I mean, I'm calling it that way. And then we have to respond as a state to that. I've been consistently raising this issue, certainly for a long time, but with greater intensity in the last number of months, in terms of the attacks on ethnicity, on people, and I've condemned attacks on people because of their ethnicity, colour or creed. And I've met with different groups who've articulated to me concerns. Young people in the context of child poverty, a group that was formed, telling me the fears they have. And I don't like using this phrase. These are Irish citizens who may be of a different, they're Asian ethnicity or whatever, it doesn't matter. But the point I'm trying to make is they were articulating to me that they're afraid to go into town. Some of their siblings are afraid of being chased home from school. Employees are being attacked. I mean, employers have reported this to me. And we do need as a society to address that. And I'm very clear about that.
Thank you, Taoiseach. You can come
But
back
equally, then, we must also be open to voices, not last night now,
Thank you,
but
Taoiseach.
in this
Deputy
House
Kearns.
and elsewhere, who raise issues and who would not condone at all what happened last night.
Thank you.
I just think it's important that we try and have civilised debate here. I'm not saying you're okay, but I just noticed things yesterday. We do have to engage as a Oireachtas. We know we must protect our fundamental values. That's
Deputy Kearns,
the
you'll be
dignity
coming
of
back
every
in,
human
Taoiseach.
being
Deputy
matters.
Kearns.
And I'm 100% with you on that.
Thank you. Deputy Kearns.
Taoiseach, I want to genuinely welcome your comments, and I also hope that you'll start to practice a bit more of what you're preaching today, because they are welcome. Comparatively to yesterday, when Deputy Fitzmaurice raised increasing knife crime in the same breath as concerns about the asylum system, your response was thanking him, this is the quote, for raising the issue in a responsible and fair way. And then when my colleague, Deputy Liam Quaid, later pulled you up on that and said we had a duty not to use that kind of language that inflamed tensions, you accused him of, I think it was being intolerant, and you asked him to reflect on his comments. And Taoiseach, can I just say, I think that you should reflect on that. I think you should show leadership and counter false narratives like that rather than indulge them. I'm not saying that we can't discuss the asylum system, of course we absolutely have to, but it shouldn't be too much to ask that we do that in a fact-based way and that we shut down racist tropes. This is something we all have to do at every opportunity, and I hope you will do in the future too, Taoiseach. Can I ask what plans you have to counter those false narratives?
Thank you, Taoiseach.
Could I first of all say, look, I don't preach, but I do practice. And in all my carrying out of my duties as Taoiseach or as a public representative, in all of my life, I do it by actions and practice, speak much louder than words or preaching. So I just take a bit of exception to that. To the suggestion, practice what you preach. I deal with that. I just want to give you my position here.
30 seconds.
Everything I do as a public representative, I will embrace all. Whether it is a school, whether it is a community, whatever. I go out of my way to do that. It's the right thing to do. I don't want to expect any credit for it or anything like that. That's the natural thing we should do, and that's what I do. Now, in respect of Deputy Fitzmaurice's comment, I would really say to you as well, and to your party as well, because I know you took exception. Like, if we keep drawing hard lines here,
please,
could I please just make a very important point? You're giving ground to the people that did what they did last night. There are people in this House that may not share our perspective entirely on this. I just say to you that it's important that we hear voices.
Thank you, Taoiseach.
And then yes, please, and then address and then address those issues on a fact-based, evidence-based approach. But if you keep, with a certain degree of arrogance, that we know, sorry, it is. What you're saying is, we know best.
You're way over time.
Don't be
for the
stupid
third
over there,
time today.
and please come with us.
Deputy
that
Brian
won't work,
Stanley.
Deputy. That won't work.
Please.
That will not work.
I
sincerely say to you, if you're trying to score points...
Taoiseach, I've asked you, please. Deputy Brian Stanley.